good evening. Sorry, gotta be a little bit quieter tonight to make sure I've got the microphone here because the girls are in bed. Anyways, if there's something you know about me, is I'm all about efficiency, and I love this. I love the way my brain functions in terms of like efficiency, but I also love that when I was diving into my human design the other week, it also talked about how my brain likes to function in efficiencies, right? Like I like to find, right, the fastest, easiest way to create the result that I want to create, right? And so my newest hack with ChatGPT was something that I discovered today. So I definitely notice at a certain point when I'm, like working on the computer, that I get to a certain point where, like writing a lot of text starts to, give me some sort of headaches. Like it's like I can't type as fast as I think. And I've also learned a lot about myself that I'm definitely more of a verbal processor. Hence why going live for me is actually very efficient because I can go live, I can use the transcript from my live, and from there I can work with ChatGPT and I can create all this content for across all the all the socials, right? And so I feel like that is I can talk a little bit about that either today or I'll do another live on that, right? But again, right, like efficiency. So for me, verbal processor, speaking is really efficient for me. However, ChatGPT right now doesn't currently have a way to do speech to text. You have the ability to upload audio. And of course, you have the ability to copy and paste text. And so at first, what I thought was like, oh, hey, I'm going to use my phone and I'm going to use ChatGPT on my phone to use the microphone on my keyboard to work with ChatGPT. But then I realized at that time that I had to refresh my ChatGPT and it wasn't efficient, right? It's like I was like, okay, this isn't working. So finally, and this is what's so funny because like Andrew literally came upstairs at one point and was like, "Who are you talking to?" Because I'm sitting there like this with my phone and I'm on my computer and he's just like, hearing me chatting away. It's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, oh, I'm chatting with ChatGPT, which I call ChatGPT Chappy. So basically, this is the hack. This is how I figured out the process that was going to be the most effective and most efficient for me in working with ChatGPT and using voice. So what I did was I took my phone, I opened up a note section on my phone, and this works. This works if you have a Mac, like you've got an iPhone and a Mac, because you can write copy from your iPhone and paste onto your computer. So I just opened up, right, a notes section, and then I, pressed the microphone, and then I just started talking into it. And as you'll probably see in a moment, yeah, you'll see, right, as I'm talking here, it's copying and pasting the as I'm saying. And then I would, and then I literally just go, right, select all, copy, go over to ChatGPT and paste. And I was able to like process my thoughts. I was able to really see, and oh my goodness, like all of a sudden, right? Talk about efficiency. I was able to express what was coming up for me verbally and then copy and paste it into ChatGPT. And then our workflow just increased like that. And so, that worked for me on the phone. Another thing you could do, you could open up a Google Doc. You can use speech to text with a Google Doc. So you can have your ChatGPT open on one page and your Google Doc on the other page, and same thing, right? You can just verbally process, whatever, if you are a verbal processor, right? But verbally process it, and then you can copy and paste it, and you can work through ChatGPT that way. So that was something that had me really, really excited to learn about today, because like I said, like sometimes, for me to type out everything, I don't find I'm as fast, or I can express the same way, right, through type. So I find myself like thinking more about what I'm going to type versus just being able to use my voice and have, the technology work together. And, this is why I love technology, right? And, I've spent most of my teaching career, and now, even the years past, I've got a master's in educational technology. I teach business technology, and I really do love technology. And I get it, right? I get that technology can be very frustrating when it doesn't work, and it can be such a game changer to efficiencies, productivities, just the way that it can expand what you're doing. And having trained and spent so much time training other people using technology, and this is where the neuroscience comes in, right? Like how many times have I heard from people, I'm no good with technology, right? And I would get, I get phone calls or text messages or emails of like, this isn't working. And I show up and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's working for you. But this is about the thought process, right? Like if I am confident with technology usage and I love technology, then, right, my thoughts and my beliefs impact the decisions I make, right? The energy around what's going on, my actions and my results. So if I show up confidently with technology, and again, this works with anything you do, right? When you show up confidently, right? And you're able to take courageous action or not worry that you have to figure it out and confident in finding a solution, then it's going to be so much faster to find the solution. And you're going to be able to access your thinking brain, the creative part of your brain that's going to help you find a solution. I know I spoke a little bit about this actually, thinking another live that I did over the last couple weeks. And because this is so important, right? This is an important message to reiterate. And if we have this belief that we're not good with technology, right? Well, we have this belief that we're not good. And then all of a sudden, that's going to lead to us shutting down, right? The fight, flight, or freeze comes up. We experience more cortisol, right? We're now in our reactive brain because maybe the thought of using technology, testing technology could create some sort of anxiety or something inside of you, and then you shut down. And then of course it's going to be so much harder and you're going to feel like things aren't working because of that. And it's just like working with technology is just another prime example of like really where you see these polar opposites of like people who are extremely confident with technology and everyone's like, oh yeah, well, you're a techie, right? So of course it's easy for you, right? Belief versus like, I'm no good with technology. I'm not comfortable with technology, all of those things. And again, right? Our thoughts create a reality. You're the creator of your thoughts. So if that's what you believe, that's what you're going to create, right? What we resist persists. And what we focus on grows. So we focus on not having confidence in technology versus having confidence in technology, it's going to impact your outcomes differently, right? And so why I'm sharing this with you is because, technology, there's so much technology out there, right? And which is so powerful. And if you're watching this and I know you saw how like my brain process, right? It's the critical thinking of like, okay, I'm up against my challenge was I'm like, okay, I'm just feeling like I can't fully express what I'm trying to say because I am a verbal processor, right? So it's like, okay, well, let's work with this. If I'm a verbal processor, how do I get to now work with ChatGPT, who currently has the limitation? Well, it doesn't have the like speech to text within ChatGPT, but I have an ability to either upload an audio, which in my mind was like, well, those are multiple steps. I don't want to go through those multiple steps. I want it to be even more effective and efficient. And so it was like, what other, right? It's accessing that creative space, which is really, really powerful when you are trying something new, when you are trying to troubleshoot something, when you are up to something that's new and different. And so that's what I wanted to lean into and share that to support in what that gets to look like. And with any result, right? With anything that you are up to in your life. It leans beautifully into, today's live podcast, which is all about responsibility, right? And 100% is 100% is possible 100% of the time. I spoke about that yesterday, but also leaning into, responsibility and what that looks like. And so it kind of ties into what I was talking about a little bit yesterday about the whole commitment piece, but also just like looking at that from another angle of responsibility and, right, knowing something that you want to achieve. For example, right, I wanted to improve my workflow and use my voice in some way, shape, or form, and then looking at, okay, how do I get to create this, right? What does that get to look like? Right, the troubleshooting, the trial and error, until I found the flow that really worked best for me. So I am going to drop the link to our latest podcast that went live today on responsibility. And I invite you to test out, if you are a verbal processor, using the speech to text on your notes, on your computer, in a Google Doc, and then copy and paste it over. And I'd love to hear how that has improved. You're working with ChatGPT. Because here's the thing. If you're using your voice, it's going to be your true authentic self, right? Sometimes when we're using, I know myself, I find like a little more robotic with the typing. It's like not my authentic voice. Whereas like when you're speech to text, you're definitely using your authentic voice. So I will see you guys tomorrow's Friday. So I will be back live on Monday. Monday's a holiday. So I will be back live on Tuesday. I don't know. I might jump in and do a bonus, but really being intentional of going live during, quote unquote, designated work days. And just love being here. Love serving you. And send me some DMs, drop me some messages. Like, what are some things you want me to dive into in irresistible leadership, in being unleashed and unstoppable, in neurohacking your productivity, even about authenticity and building your websites and things like that? Let me know. All right. Good night. Bye.